Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. So if you haven't already guessed by today's thumbnail, we're going to be doing 17 indie brand rankings. These are 17 palettes that I own and we're just going to go in and rank them all. Welcome to Vlogmas. I did take last week off. My daughter was very poorly. She ended up going to having a trip to the hospital, but she's doing so much better, so we are ready to get into Vlogmas. I'm actually filming this the day after she took a trip to the hospital, but she's feeling 100% better. But I just wanted to do something easy that if I could shoot off camera and I was needed, then that is not a problem. So yeah, we're just going to dive right into this, and if you are new around here, please like, please subscribe, and please turn that notification bell on so you don't miss any of my future uploads. Like I said, last week was very quiet on my channel, but I am here and we're going to be posting every day up until Christmas Day. So yeah, let's just dive right into it and get started. If I look a little bit rough, remember this is the day after my daughter was in hospital and it's been a crazy week, so let's just dive into it. I don't normally look like this. I normally look 10 times better, but we're just gonna ignore the fact that my hair is scraped back and possibly greasy, and yeah, who cares? Let's just dive into it. So as I said, I have 17 eyeshadow palettes to rank. That is a lot of eyeshadow palettes, but I really wanted to just do this. It's something fun, and I love a ranking video. I love to watch them and I love to create them. So yeah, if you like that, then definitely stick around because I will be doing a lot of those come January. Oh, and definitely I will be doing my big yearly ranking. So we're just going to dive right into it. If I say that again, you're probably just going to get like really annoyed, so I'm not going to. I just want to put something out that I love each and every one of these palettes. I know a lot of people say that, but I actually genuinely do. I don't plan on decluttering any one of these palettes. Maybe one. No, I won't. Maybe. I don't know. I'll talk about it when I get to it. But yeah, so yeah, let's just start from number 17. So number 17 is going to be this Juvia's Place, the Sweet Pinks by Juvia's. Now the only reason that this has come in last something has to come in last. I was about to say everything has to come in last. Something has to come in last, and unfortunately it was this. This is a stunning palette, but it is just pink. It's definitely a companion palette. The shimmers are actually very stunning. These shades are very similar on the eye, and obviously the deepest shade is this one. There's also nothing bright that I can use in my inner corner or brow bone, but it is a really stunning palette. So if you want a nice companion pink palette, I would definitely recommend this because it's very drugstore friendly. So this at Superdrug, this is where I got this one from, and yeah, it's just a nice palette. I would never get rid of it. I do genuinely like it. And just to say, we're probably not going to agree on all of these rankings. I mean, some of these might be like your number one palette that you reach for every single day. That's great. I love these for different reasons, and sometimes I'll pull for them if I feel like I want to pull for them, but these ones lower down I tend not to pull for. So the next one is going to be a brand that I really like. So this is the Norns eyeshadow palette. This packaging is absolutely stunning. It really is. It's very weighty. I love Odens eye, but this one is just not my favourite colour story. These shimmers at the bottom are absolutely out of this world. If you want something popping, if you want something sparkly that's going to last all day, these shimmers are beautiful. It does only have 1, 2, 3, 4 mattes. This one is completely pointless unless you are of a deeper skin tone. But other than that, there's a lot of different formulas in here. You do have some satins. These are a bit more like on the chunkier, very sparkly, very beautiful. But yeah, it's just not one that I pull for a lot, and I try to create different looks with it. And yeah, I know this came quite high in Angie's ranking, but I just don't. And this one is also very pretty. It is called Pink Chameleon, and it has got that beautiful pink shift. It's very beautiful. It's a lovely palette. I don't plan on getting rid of it, but I just don't pull for it that often, which is a shame. I do hope that I can create some more looks with it and hopefully reach for it a little bit more. Now the next brand that I'm going to talk about aren't an indie brand anymore. They were an indie brand, but they were indie brand when I bought the palette, so that is why I have included them in today's video. Anything that I buy here on out, I won't include them in an indie brand video just because they're not actually indie anymore, which is a shame because they're really, really great brands, and I hope they continue with the formula that they had before. So this is BH Cosmetics, the Weekend Vibes Mimosa palette. One of the first palettes I brought, I guess. I love the packaging. It's very, very cute. It's very, very me. And again, it was another pink. I must have gone through a lovely pink eyeshadow. I love the background. Is a little bit off-putting to some people, but I really, really love it. There's not a lot of depth in here, to be quite honest. The shimmers are really, really nice, but there's a lot of pink, and a lot of the tones, they just like tend to pull the same on the eye, so I just don't tend to pull for it. This purple is absolutely beautiful. I'm not too sure if it's going to pick it up because of the reflex off of the back, but yeah, it's stunning. I really, really do enjoy this palette, but as I said, it is predominantly a pink palette. It does go very light, but it doesn't go, this is probably Happy Hour is the darkest that it goes, and it's just not dark enough for me. Even pomegranate, it's just not dark enough for my outer corner. As I've just been growing with makeup and learning what kind of shades that I like, I just don't reach for this because it's just not a dark palette. Okay, the next one, we're going back to Odens Eye, and this is the Alva 2 palette. I really like this palette. I actually put this on my daughter for her exams last year, for her dance exams, and it turned out really, really pretty. Again, packaging 10 out of 10. It is absolutely stunning. Very, very pretty. Odens Eye really know how to kill their packaging. This does have 2 pressed glitters, which I am not a fan of. This can be very, very fallout shades. It can literally go all over your face. Again, you have some satins. They do mix their formulas, which I do really like. Pressed glitters, no. Again, it doesn't go very, very dark, apart from this deep dark blue and this shade down here, which is called Coffee. It's nice, but I love the fact that it's in these rolls. So if you are a beginner and you struggle with putting shades together, this is such a really good beginner friendly palette because it's just already set out for you. And that is probably why one of the reasons that I purchased it in the beginning was I struggled with putting shades together and knowing what went together and what looked well together. So this was perfect. But I just don't like those pressed glitters. I just don't really reach for pressed glitters in any palette, to be quite honest. Next is coming from one of my all-time favourite brands. I've only discovered this brand this year, but I've bought quite a fair few from them, and it's great me to put this one here. I've totally lost track of the numbers, by the way. I will remember when we get to maybe like the top 5 already, something like that. And I'm not that fancy to know to put my numbers in the corner either, so don't expect that. So we're just winging it. So this is the Nomad Haunted Europe. This unfortunately now is a discontinued palette. I did buy it when it went on sale. Did it go on sale and that's when they discontinued it, or did it just... Yeah, I think it did. But yeah, I love this packaging. This is just so nice. This is the colour story. Now I saw this colour story online. I was like, wow, I have to have that. Now that I've got it, I'm a bit like, okay, it's a little bit of a... So these two golds are very, very similar. Some of the mattes are very, very similar. These two like grey metallic shades are very, very similar. It's okay. You've got like 3 kind of browny shades in here that you didn't really need. It could just go dark and it just go light with some of the shimmers. You haven't really got any light mattes. This is a nice blending out matte, and possibly this one. But they are very, very pigmented. But again, they're still really, really stunning. It just had to come somewhere. And I do sometimes struggle putting a look together. I did do a video, I think. 3 looks, 1 palette with this one. And yeah, every look turned out nicely. This green is beautiful. I really do like that. In fact, I love the green road, to be quite honest. But yeah, it's just not my favourite Nomad palette. I didn't have any problems with the formula in mattes or shimmers. It's just the colour story is not my favourite out of all of the Nomad palettes that I own, but we'll be, looking some more of those. This is number 12. I've just counted. Go me. And I know people are going to be like, why is this not in your top 10? This is absolutely amazing. This is a limited edition palette, very new to my collection. Okay. It's the Merry Christmas Odens Eye palette. Now, please don't come for me because like I say, I love each and every one of these palettes. They are stunning. The looks that I've created with this, I've not loved. Like, I don't know what it is. Packaging, again, 10 out of 10, it's Odens Eye. I absolutely love the colour story, but I just can't get a look that I'm like, wow, I want to recreate that. And I've used this palette like 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 times, on camera, off camera. I just don't get a look that I love. I don't know what it is. Again, I love the fact that they have these kind of rows that you can kind of stick to if you really want to. This multi-chrome up here is stunning. It is like a putty. You can see kind of where my fingerprint's gone into it. This shade down here is a little bit crumbly. I don't even think I've actually used it yet because it's just a little bit too thick for my wrinkly aging eyelids. Yeah, I just haven't come up with a look that I love, and hopefully I really want to, and I will be using this obviously over Christmas. It's a stunning palette, and I do apologise that you can't get it anymore. It's just not my favourite. I just have a lot more that I love. Again, people are probably going to be thinking that this one probably should have been bottom because I know a lot of people had a lot of problems with this palette, but I actually really love this. So this is number 11, and this is the Nomad Finland palette. This palette, look at that. Oh my god, that is just everything. Like, it is the Santa's Village Finland Lapland palette, and this is what it looks like. You can see here, obviously, because of, you know, having to press in, I feel like these are going to hard pan very quickly, which is an incredible shame. I really love this shade. A lot of people think that it was absolutely pointless in the palette. It is such a beautiful blending out shade. I've used all of these shades now, apart from this one, for highlighters, all of the outer ones, and they are absolutely stunning. Give a beautiful reflect. You wouldn't think that this one would, but it really does. Yeah, I still want to create a green look using just Fir Tree is on my agenda. So I might do that tomorrow, and then we can, you know, film that. But yeah, I have really enjoyed playing with this palette, and when you learn how to put the shimmers on your eyes, it's very beautiful. They don't pick up well with the brush, so if you don't want to dip your finger in because you're potentially going to get a hard pan from the oils off your fingers, you know, you're probably not going to enjoy this palette or the formula. But this colour story works wonders. It really does. So yeah, definitely, if you're thinking about it, you know, work with the shimmers, because they're not just a normal pick up on the brush and put on the eye. They definitely take a little bit of work, but once you do work with them, they are absolutely stunning. And look at that, little Santa, so cute. Now, number 10 is coming from a brand that I absolutely hate and absolutely think that they're disgusting. I will never ever purchase from them again, but we're not talking about the brands today. We are talking about the palettes. And this one had to come somewhere, and I actually do like this. I didn't purchase it from the brand. I purchased it from Beauty Box by Tammy, who's here in the UK. But I won't be purchasing just nothing from them ever again. Their customer service is absolutely diabolical. I'm not going to get into too much detail, but yeah, their customer service is horrendous, and the company is absolutely disgusting in my eyes. And I didn't really want to put this palette in there because I don't really feel like they deserve any of my camera time. But I had to, you know, I had to rank it, and I are ranking the palettes, and the person that collabed with the company I do really like, so I put this palette in there. And this is the one that I would potentially declutter just because I can't stand seeing the word Glamlight in my collection. But I love Michaela, so if I could just like do that, you know, no problems. And if you love Glamlight, I'm happy for you, but yeah, we're not going to get into that. So this is the Michaela Part 2 10 colour palette. I really like this. I do. It is predominantly green. These two shades are very similar, and we only have one light shade. So when I do put this on my eyes, the reason it's coming in number 10 is just because it does look a little bit too dark. So I find myself having to reach for another palette to kind of brighten it up, because I do prefer brighter shimmers as opposed to darker shimmers, just because, yeah, I just find my eyes are quite hooded, so to keep putting like a lot of darker shades on my eyes, they just look a lot more closed. So yeah, that's the reason it's coming in at number 10, but really, really great quality, beautiful shimmers. Shame that it has to come from Glamlight, but hey ho, that's the way the cookie crumbles. Coming in at number 9 is another stunning palette. From now on, yeah, all of these I really struggled to rank, but again, they have to come somewhere. So this is the Nomad Fete de Provence. I'm not. Packaging, 10 out of 10. The only reason, do you see this shade right here? And I've seen a lot of it is seeping. I don't know why. I don't know why that has happened. But yeah, this, I think their money went towards the bees. I think on this one, that's why it's got like little bees. If you don't buy from Nomads or you don't know anything about the brand, commission from their palettes, some of their commission, goes towards a charity of the local area. I'm pretty sure this was for bees. Haunted Europe, I think it was for bats, I think. So the only reason that it's coming in here is genuinely because some of these are quite like toppery shades, and this one is absolutely stunning, but it does seem to again, it's more of like a toppery shade, and yet some people seem to be making it very popping yellow. So I think I need to put it on top of maybe like a matte to get it to really pop. But these are probably the only two that have got like a really good base to them to make them pop on the eye. But again, it is a really, really stunning palette. It's a palette that I loved through spring and summer. And again, it goes dark. I love the fact that it has the columns there for beginners. I'm not really a grey lover, but I am definitely getting into grey. So I think I need to pull this palette to do a grey look. This is more like a grey purpley blue. It's very shifty shadow. It's very beautiful. I love this palette, and I love like the little indents of the bees and the grapes. It's stunning. I really do love it, but it had to come somewhere, and unfortunately that is where it came. Next, we're going to be getting into Melt. This is the only Melt palette that I own. So this is the Amor Mariposas. I don't know. I'm not very good. The packaging, 10 out of 10. This is a very weighty palette. And again, it's the only Melt palette that I own. It is the palette that I have on my eyes today. I've really been loving. I bought this palette possibly the beginning of the year, and I've actually been loving pulling it out. I love this colour story. Row by row by row. Stunning. Shimmers are really, really pretty. They're not like as sparkly, but they're really, really nice. They have a great effect on the eye, and they're just, I really, really like this. I really, really do. Some of the greens perhaps could have been switched up. Maybe like these two are very, very similar. You can even tell on the camera they're quite close. These two, there are just some couple of shades that are like very, very similar. When you put them on the eye, they can be a little bit different, but not too much, as in like, you know, drastic. But yeah, I have enjoyed really playing with this palette. So, and I love butterflies. So yeah, so I've really enjoyed playing with that one recently. Okay, so coming in at 7th place again is that indie brand that we discussed earlier. That is no longer an indie brand. This was the only other palette that I own from them, and this is Passion in Paris by BH Cosmetics. I love this palette. It's such a good. If you don't have this palette from them, I only own 2, but I would recommend this one to anybody. The shimmers are out of this world. They're not like sparkly, shifty shimmers, but they are so impactful and so, so beautiful. You have this one up here, which is a perfect inner corner highlight. These two shades blend out beautifully. The colour story just makes sense. Purple and blue together. It is stunning. I think I might have created a look when I first started YouTube with this palette, when I was testing out a drugstore palette. I think I might have been doing like a full face of drugstore, and I did it with this palette. This row down here, these like burgundy mauvey, they're just I love this. This is actually quite like maybe like a duo cross. It does shift to like a pink. You're not gonna be able to see it on the camera. But yeah, this is a stunning palette, and it probably would have gone higher if it had those kind of shifty, sparkly shadows that I have become to love. But no, it is a stunning palette, and I do really recommend it because it's very, very affordable. If you can pick it up on a sale, maybe at the minute. Oh no, not at the minute, because when I put this up, Black Friday might have gone off. Maybe wait for Monday. Sorry about that. So sorry about the barking about that. So they just like to bark at fresh air, clearly, because there was nothing there. Right, so I technically just realised that I miscounted, so there was 18 palettes. So this one is now number 7. Again, I don't think some people would have put this at number 7. I know it is a favourite of a lot of people's. It was actually, if you watched Angie's Nomad review, it was her number 1 palette. So to put it here at number 7, I feel like I'm being a bit cruel. But it's just that these last 7 I felt the hardest, and that's a good amount of palettes to feel like. Some people have like 2 or 3 and they're like, oh, I can't decide. I had 7 and I really couldn't decide. So when I'm giving you reasons why they're in that place, it's literally just being a bit picky, just because simply I had to give a reason. And yeah, so this is the Monteverde Cloud Forest palette from Nomad. It is stunning packaging, 10 out of 10. I am a sucker for packaging, and this is the colour story. It's me. I love bright colourful makeup. The reason why it is in the 7th place is simply due to the shimmers. I do prefer a matte heavy palette, don't get me wrong, but I like a different variety when it comes to shimmers, like different colours. And these, although they're a little bit more shifty, they're very green based. There's only literally one which is blue, which I think, yeah, River Trail. The rest are very green based. So when you put them on the eyes, sometimes they can look a little bit different depending on what other colours that you mix them with. I understand the colour story, but I feel like you have like 3 sort of pinky shades. This one's more of a corally type, but these are definitely like similar-ish. So I felt like they could have maybe put like a pink shimmer in, maybe like an orange shimmer. Like, I understand the colour story. It is the cloud forest with the animals and the flowers and that peeking through, which is the pops of colour. It's amazing. They did such a good job, and the quality is the best Nomad palette that I have. The quality is outstanding. This is not the last Nomad, but yeah, again, it's just amazing. I really do love it. Again, another thing that I could probably pick at is you only really have these deep shades, but you don't have a lot of blending out shades. So if you wanted a more of monochromatic look, you definitely do like something with green, or maybe something with blue or pink. But if you wanted to like blend out your purple, there's not like a lighter purple, or there's not like maybe like a deeper orange that you could or like a deeper red might have been something. But yeah, I get it. It's a stunning palette, but that is the reason that it's at number 7. But I'm just being picky because I love the palette, I love the quality, I love Nomad, and I think this one was, oh, look at that sleeve, it's so stunning. That sauce just peeping through. That one, I can't remember what did they put it on the back? Oh, it's wildlife. It's for wildlife. Their charity thing. Thingamajig. Getting into number 6. Number 6 is my last Nomad palette. My most recent Nomad palette. Is it? No, Santa's Village was my most recent, so the one before that. And a lot of people would think, oh, you can't really do as much, and some people haven't actually been blown away by this palette, but I have. I've reached for this. I actually did my first all matte look with this palette, and I don't like an all matte look, to be quite honest. It's not really my thing. I love a shimmer on the lid, but I created an all matte look and it was stunning. And it is the Nomad Hudson Valley. This is like that cardboard matte packaging. It is so beautiful, the colour story. And again, I do like my mix of shimmers, but this only has 3, but these 3 work wonders. You can use them all together. I love this side, I love this side, I love everything about it. Warm tones, cool tones, shimmers, it has it all. It has it all in one palette. It is definitely the perfect fall palette. 100%, but I don't know, I feel like you could use this. I use any colour all year round, to be quite honest. I'm not really too fussed. But yeah, I feel like you can go like, you can brighten it up with the shimmers that are in this palette. But I do get why they chose this one. I'm not too sure what this one was for. It just says the foliage trail, that's the destination. So I'm not too sure what their charity for this one was, what they were giving money towards. But no, this is a stunning palette. I will forever think that Nomad is top-notch quality, and the only reason that has come a little bit further down is just due to the fact that there's not like a, I don't know, in a corner shade or a brown shade. I'm being so picky right now, but that's it, because this palette is stunning. Like, I just love it. I just absolutely love it. Maybe a couple more shimmers, but honestly, they don't need to change that palette, because I think that's probably my number one Nomad palettes. Top 5 now, and it's getting harder as I go on. It's getting really, really hard. Okay, so this is a new brand to my collection. I have purchased the other one. I purchased it in the Black Friday sale, which is technically today. But yeah, I didn't want to put it at number 5 because I've loved every minute with this palette, and it is absolutely stunning. But it is the Simply Posh Cosmetics Fairy Tale Fairies. Oh my god, I've loved this palette. I've loved playing with this palette. This colour story is stunning. And if you want like a very pretty fairy tale, unicorny, magical, mystical look, you've got it with this palette. It is stunning. The only deepest shade in here is this one. It probably could have gone a little bit darker. This one might actually be darker. Evergreen, so it could have possibly gone a little bit darker for me. These pastel shades are beautiful. They're really, really pigmented, which is quite surprising. These 3 to maybe 4 are they are all like really shifty shadows. They're not they're so beautiful. So yeah, they are more of a topper. You can build them up, you definitely can build them up. But they are more of that topper, whereas these are definitely more opaque. This one is a little bit more opaque, but not. These 3 are definitely more on the topper side, but that does not bother me. They just change the look 100%. I really want to reach for this palette so much, and I'm kind of excited for like springtime, because I feel like this will be definitely a perfect springtime palette. I absolutely love it, and yeah, but it had to go at number 5, and that is the only reason I can think of number 5 is it could have gone a little bit darker for me, just a little bit darker for me, and that's it. And maybe one of these could have been a little bit more opaque, so I didn't have to keep. I'm just gonna show you what I mean. It's just it is very, very pinky, but if I just went in, do you know what I mean? It can be built up, or you can just dot it on. So yeah, it is a really good palette, but it had to come somewhere, and it came there. Number 4. Number 4 was a new brand that I tried this year. I think all of these brands have been new to me this year, apart from BH. I think I had that last year. But yeah, all of these brands, and I've definitely ventured way out, and indie brands are just, they just do it right. They just do. There are some really, really good high-end brands. I love Pat McGrath, but there are some indie brands that are just that bit cheaper than Pat McGrath, and they just do something. So yes, number 4. Oh, it's exciting. I was so excited to get. I wasn't gonna get this. I really, really wasn't. Like some of these, the shipping is extortionate to the UK, but if it is a colour story that I love, and I know that I'm going to use, and I know that I'm going to love, and the person behind the brand is amazing, like this lady that I'm going to talk about right now, then that sells a palette to me. This palette has actually touched my heart. Just the lady behind the brand. She's amazing. She really, really is. I can't speak highly about a person enough than what I can about this lady. Like, I've never even met her. She's obviously from America, but she's just, you know when you just know. I'm very good at knowing how a person is, at judging a company. Nomad, smash it. Customer service, 100,000%. The lady behind this brand, 100,000% amazing. I don't want to go too much into it. I'm just going to get into the palette because we did say that we weren't really going to talk about the brands. The palette is Spooked. So this was Gourmand Girls, Christina, and Doodles by the Bunny. This was their Halloween palette. This is amazing. This can go, you can take this out and go very full neutrally, or you can go very, very bright. It's totally up to yourself. This palette has it all. This shade down here, I have nothing like this in my collection. This is the shade Pumpkin. It's absolutely stunning. The sparkle behind the shadow, behind the shimmers. The mattes are very, very pigmented. The white is a good blend out shade. It's not very as opaque, but I don't really use a white as an inner corner. I don't really like a matte inner corner, so that doesn't bother me. I can use it to blend these shadows out and it's absolutely fine. Yeah, I've reached for this palette a lot. I've made quite a hefty dent in the shade Pumpkin and the shade Spirit and the shade Trick. Yeah, I've made a really good dent because this palette, I don't really want to keep reaching for it because I want it to stay in my collection for as long as possible because I absolutely love it. And if you haven't, all these palettes will be linked down below, but yeah, great brand, great brand. Now number 3, this is again probably going to shock people. This probably would have been a lot of people's number 1, but it came in number 3. And I have no reason why it came in number 3. I'm not even gonna. I have no faults with any of these palettes, literally none. So it just came in 3rd place. There's no reason why it came in 3rd place. It just did. And this is the Odens Christmas Eve palette. Out of the 2, this is my absolutely most favourite, loved palette. These shimmers do not crease on me. I don't know why it is. I don't know. I've worn that several times and it creases. These never do. This palette. This is definitely my favourite out of the 2. It is a predominantly blue look when you go in there and you see all the blues. But if you just like start covering those blues up, it's a bit hard. Maybe these 2 rows. You can definitely see like more of a grungy. It's just beautiful. I can't cover it up because it's just got these like pops of colour that are just, and I've just dented that. But yeah, this is stunning. This multi-chrome down here is absolutely stunning. I've loved every shade in here. This one is probably the most chunkiest one in here, which is called Snowlight, but I don't find it as chunky. I can't remember what that shade was called. Yeah, and Snowflake is a bit chunky, a bit more fallouty. I would probably say do your eyes first before you do your makeup. But yeah, I love this one. I have no complaints. I've used this several times and it's just absolutely 10 out of 10. Cannot fault it. But it had to come 3rd because the other 2 I love just a little bit more, and because we are going to be bigging up the UK next, of course we had to big up the UK next. So number 2 is a new UK indie brand. I think they've done brushes in the past, if that gives a little bit of a hint. So yeah, they've done brushes, but they did a palette. Well, they've done one palette before this one, and then they came out with this one, and it took over the internet. Like, it took over YouTube, it took over everything, and it's sold out. I think she's now on her, or they are on like their 5th restock. Like, it's insane. It is insane, and it is such a stunning palette, and they did so well. Price is absolutely amazing. It was in the Black Friday sale for like £16 and it's only 20. So for an indie brand, UK indie brands, I love this palette. It's Serenity. It's stunning. I absolutely love it. The colour story is absolutely everything. I can make this work, and a lot of people are like, why the hell is that in there? But honestly, I can make it work with any look. You know, you have it all. You have like the shimmers that match the looks in here. You have like your green shimmer, you have your purple shimmer, your blue shimmer, you've got a gold, you've got a nice blue to pinky multi-chrome up here. It's absolutely stunning. A lighter blue here. Honestly, this palette is amazing. If you haven't picked this up and you constantly keep missing the restocks, make sure you save a notification bell on. I'm not too sure if it's a limited edition. I'm not too sure if she's going to be, you know, phasing it out soon. I really don't know, but I would not miss out on this palette. This palette is amazing. I love it. I absolutely love this palette. I've used it a lot, and to be fair, I haven't even touched the surface. It is beautiful, and this to me is one of those all year round palettes with your like pastel shades down here, your beautiful corally shade up here, your lighter colours. It's just absolutely stunning. It's just stunning. So this to me is one of those palettes that you can pull out and create summer, winter, autumn and spring look, because I know I just did those totally all mixed up, but yeah, I love that palette. It really is. And it was going to be number one, but number one just pinched out by this palette. I've used this palette so much. I love this palette. I can't talk about it enough. It's amazing. So if you're sitting and you're wondering, I wonder what she's gonna put as number one, it is the Odens Eye Hela Angelica Nyqvist. When I look at this palette, it has my whole heart. It really, really does. It is stunning. I mean, the packaging, it is again Odens Eye, so it is amazing. But just look at that colour story. She killed it. She absolutely killed it. It is a predominantly green palette, but then we have this just different, like these rows of pinks. This shade, River, is it River? I don't have anything like this in my collection. It is amazing. Oh, it's just so beautiful. It looks dark there, but it's not. It's beautiful. This is a lovely, amazing duochrome. These greens are also different, but yet so catching, and so they just look so different on the eye. None of these shades, although may look similar in the pan, none of them look the same. None of them, not one. You have these darker shades that you can darken it up with. It's just everything. Yeah, there are no words. I absolutely love this palette, and it had to come number one because of how much I have reached for it since I got it the earlier start of this year. 10 out of 10. It's by far the best one that I have in my collection, but I love them all. I love them all for different reasons, and I'm gonna go now and go away because this has been a very long and tiring video. So if you stuck around to the end, thank you, and please stick around because this is Vlogmas and we are going to be filming all up until Christmas Eve. So if you want to see this pretty face up until Christmas Eve, then obviously please stick around, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye.